What is up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. So today I want to talk about the new masking updates in Lightroom because they made some pretty major changes as to how you use them, but not only like how to use the specific masking tools, but also like one specific more powerful tool that they added to the masking, which I'll show you guys. So let's just go hop into the computer. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. So if you hear something walking around, that's my dog that you see in this picture here. But anyways, I already made a few little adjustments to this photo. It's not the greatest picture when it comes to the exposure and all that, but who cares about that? Because I'm just here to show you guys how to use the new updated masking tools. So normally they would all be up here. Now you have to click on them and then it shows you the different options. And it has two new options, which that's kind of like the main biggest change that they made that a lot of people are excited about. Real quick though, they also have the cropping tool up here and the spot removal and the red eye correction, which we're not going to go over right now because I just want to really show you guys the new masking updates. But that's where they are. They just kind of changed some stuff. So we'll go ahead and click on the masking, and then look how cool this is. I can just select subject and it takes a second to load. So it just automatically selects the subject, or what it thinks is the subject. And that's a pretty good job, I think, because I mean, in a way, both of these are the subject, my Jeep and my dog. So if I wanted to just have my dog highlighted, because right now, if I make adjustments, it's going to adjust everything that's highlighted because it believes that's the subject. Which, by the way, this is awesome technology because typically in the past, you would have to brush it all in to, like, you know, highlight your subject to be able to make changes like that. But anyways, you would just, we're on mask 1, I would hit subtract and then brush, and then you can, here, let me do that so you can see. Then you can just remove it from this part. And if you want to make this bigger or smaller, just roll the little wheel on your mouse and it makes it bigger or smaller. That way if you have to like do something small. But I actually do want both of them there because I feel like the shadows need to go up a little on both of them. Plus I want to show you guys how to undo that. So to remove it, we would just go to the brush that we created and just delete brush. And now, as you can see, they're both being affected again. So this was the main thing that people were pumped about, is the fact that you could just create a mask and select subject and it would do this for you instead of having to brush it in. But let's go ahead and use the other one that people are very excited about as well, which is select sky, as you can see right there. Now you gotta be careful because if I were to just click add and then select sky, it would highlight the sky, but it would still be considered mask number 1. So then when I make adjustments to like the exposure of the dog and the Jeep, it would put those same exact like adjustments to the sky. And obviously I don't want to do that because I'm going to darken the sky and I don't want to darken my subject and the Jeep. So instead of going add, select sky, we're going to create new mask, select sky. You know, the only reason I'm telling you guys is because when I first went to use it, I made that mistake and it was driving me crazy because I just was clicking add right here or on this one and I was just adjusting everything and it was so annoying. So anyways, now we created mask 2 and it's the sky, as you can see. It's a little bit on the mountains as well, which I think that'll just help it blend in better. But if you wanted to remove that, again, you could just hit subtract and go to the brush tool and then just kind of brush that off. Yeah, so I'm gonna maybe just go down, probably not even that much. How about just a little with the exposure? And then if I wanted to, I can add some dehaze to make it look a little cool, like a little bit more stormy in the background. So like I mentioned, these are just some really cool new tools that they added. They'll save a lot of time of having to brush the sky or use like a linear gradient for the sky, because this is more exact because it really gets all of it. Now, you know, of course there might be some photos where it can't quite tell the difference between the sky and the background or something, but you know, at least it'll get mostly close and then you can kind of just adjust from there. Now let's go over the other ones. So the brush tool I talked about a little bit, but I'll go ahead and create one just so you can see it. So this is for you know, if I wanted to brush a certain area. But if there was something else that I wanted to adjust and I just wanted to adjust it separately, I can just paint it with the brush, you know, even if it's smaller, I can paint it with a brush like that. But anyways, we're not even going to use this, which kind of leads me to showing you how to delete one, which you would just click on mask 3, the 3 little dots there, and delete mask 3. And so that's completely gone. Now, the linear gradient, which is another one that I use a lot, we will go ahead and use this. Sometimes I like to darken the foreground to put more attention on the subject. Now again, this is not going to be the greatest edited photo because I'm mostly just trying to show you guys how to use these tools. But as you can see, you can just kind of go up like that and it like expands and makes these 3 lines either bigger or smaller. So up until this first line, it's completely affected. That's why it's red. It's completely affected by whatever adjustments we make. So let's just make it go down by like half a stop. So now it's a little darker and it's, I'll hit this again. So this first line is completely affected by the adjustments. Then it slowly fades, but it's still mostly affected. And then after this middle line, between here and the third line, it completely is no longer affected. So it completely fades out. So if you wanted a more abrupt, like dark area, so you can see this looks kind of faker because it's very abrupt. Especially if I make it even smaller, then it just looks like a straight line almost. Or you kind of bring it way up like this and it's very gradual and it looks better in my opinion. In fact, I'll bring this down a little and bring this up. So it's more gradual and just looks cool. And then I want to add more on the sides a little, and I want it to be affected with the same changes that I make. So I'm going to add them under mask 3 instead of creating new mask. So add linear gradient, and I'll put it right over here. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more, and we're going to put it over here. I also want to show you guys the radial gradient, and this is the last one I'm going to show you because pretty much these are all the main ones that you're going to use to make adjustments, or at least that I use. So I'll go ahead and click radial gradient, and this is a circle or whatever shape you want it to be, whatever round shape. If you had a person standing, you might make it like this and kind of put it around them. But in this case, I'm going to put it right around here. I'll take off the overlay. This is just so you can see what's being affected. Anyways, obviously, like we mentioned, this affects everything in that circle now. So I want to brighten the middle just a tad, but then I want to bring down the highlights because some of this just looks way too white and I want more detail. So you see if I go all the way, you can see all the detail there. But there's another use for this circle, and you can do this with pretty much all of the different masks, but if you go over here, you see this invert button. So I'll click invert, and now if I show overlay, everything around the circle is selected instead of everything in the circle, and then it fades in instead of fading out from the circle. Let me take off that overlay. And so now those adjustments are on the outside. So if you wanted to like use that to make a vignette, you can make a larger circle and then add a little bit of like lower the exposure a little, and you'd have a different kind of vignette. And so anyways, it's just super useful for, you know, making adjustments outside of your subject. If you guys have any questions whatsoever about like the masking tools or something that I may not have covered, definitely let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, if you got anything out of it, definitely hit the like button because it really helps out my channel. It's like a small, simple thing that you can do that actually makes a difference, so I would appreciate that. And don't forget about the subscribe button because I do a lot of videos that have to do with like photography or making videos, and specifically like lens reviews and gear reviews. Like I've done camera backpack reviews, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. And thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.